Okay. Right. So just starting off here, these are our new hero products. Just been awarded with like, these are our Intel and AMD motherboards. I just had to double check the chipsets. Yeah, so this is our Z890 Hero Maximus with, this is the BTF hidden connector form factor. Same thing over here for our X870 Hero BTF. So we'll get a little bit more into the detail here, but this is for the graphics card rear power. I can just pull it off and showcase. So we've got all of the hidden connectors just on the back of the board. This is something that we're working with, obviously, chassis manufacturers and things like that to hopefully have this become a little bit more standardized. Oftentimes we've heard and we see online, one of the most daunting things for people when building a new PC is the cable management. And especially when you've got like, all your components in the system, managing the cables on the front can be a bit finicky. So obviously just having it all on the rear with nothing else in the way, just the rear of the chassis, it makes it a lot easier.
Show me something a little similar last year, but was that just in concept mode at that point?
No. So we've had BTF for a full generation now, but there are some slight tweaks to this one. Actually, if we want to just move directly on to that. So here's the showcase of the BTF graphics card. So in previous generations, because of the additional power input that we have here on the motherboard, so just to be clear as well, it still uses the same 2x6 connector on the rear from NVIDIA's cards, but we've got the power input coming through the back and coming up through here. Now in the last generation, because of that, the graphics card silhouette was different. But here, it still sits completely flush. What we've got now is a detachable high power adapter. So you put this onto the graphics card and now you can plug it into the BTF motherboard. So the thing with this graphics card with this high power adapter, the adapter is actually capable of delivering up to 1,000 watts of power. So the other advantage of doing it this way is if you want to buy a BTF graphics card in anticipation of future generations, but you don't have a BTF motherboard yet, you can still use this one in a standard motherboard. But once you get a BTF motherboard to support it, then you can put in the adapter. The high power adapter comes in the box with the graphics card. So this is Asus's solution. We've also spoken to the engineers and we're actually working on having it so that with the 2x6 connector up here as well, this will also be functional. So you can use this as well as the high power adapter and you can split the voltage, you can, maybe push even more power through your graphics card. I know that overclocking headroom is not what it used to be, but giving people choice and options. So these are the exact same motherboard, it's just one is standard and one is BTF. The visual difference mostly comes from, you'll see all this additional shielding here because there's no longer any access needed. So it's just covering up the motherboard and keeping it safer. Moving along, this is part of like our graphics card lineup. This is the XG Station 3, which is a external GPU dock. So this is running off of the XG, this is a 5090 on the XG Station 3. It's utilizing the new Thunderbolt 5 technology from Intel, which delivers up to 80 gigabytes per second in terms of throughput and bandwidth. So we've got
how long a distance will it do? Because those cables have always been really short in the past.
Yeah, I don't have an exact measurement. Obviously, the cable here is,
it's a lot longer than they used to be, though.
It's not too bad. It would obviously still need to be close to your laptop, and as I'm sure you're aware, signal degradation over a distance. But here we've got a thin and light laptop running Doom: The Dark Ages. Yeah, so this is, I'm pretty sure everything is maxed out here, and we've got just about 84 frames per second as an average. So any thin and light laptop with Thunderbolt 5 should be fully compatible with the XG Station 3.
So that's a flow, isn't it? So that's already got discrete graphics. Does that get disabled in favor of that, or does it work in parallel at all?
I'm pretty sure it's disabled in favor of the 5090, but I think you can play around with it in the software, and we'll probably have more updates to come. Just over here, if you have any interest, is a 5090 Astral White Edition signed by Jensen Huang.
He signed a lot of things here.
Yeah, he did. And over here as well, this was something that we've done for a few cards previously. This is a collaboration with Noctua. So this is a 5080 Noctua edition. It's got a little bit of attention to detail, like the Noctua eye here on the back plate. It's probably, I'm fairly certain, our biggest card, or at least tied with the 5090 Astral. And it uses the new Noctua fans. So, you know, everyone knows Noctua for, you know, their cooling. Also, Noctua Brown is kind of iconic, so that's why as well the entire enclosure around the cooling system is also Noctua Brown. All right, so that's the kind of big updates to the graphics cards and motherboards. Yeah, this is a custom modded PC running with 5080, I believe. Over here. Wow. Yeah, so this is a Taiwanese modder that made this, called an AK Mod. We work with them quite regularly. You can see the PCIe riser cable just here. So this is a fully functioning gaming PC, technically, but obviously if you had HDMI coming out of here or a DisplayPort, you probably need to stop it moving. But yeah. And over here are new wraparound AIO coolers with LCD. So 360 millimeter radiators, 2K 60 hertz refresh rate LCD panels. So if you've seen some of those like wraparound panels in like they've got them in like Shinjuku in Tokyo, places in Beijing and things like that. You can create semi 3D effects with the kind of screen that you've got there. And we've got a white version coming soon to market as well. And then these are just our motherboards, our current motherboard lineup. These are all already released, so nothing new here. And none of these are BTF either. These are our current motherboard chipset lineups. If you wanted to have a look, this is what a full BTF system would look like. So BTF motherboard, BTF graphics card, everything would be plugged in on the rear. I can probably just... There is on this case a bit of a shield to cover some of the cable management, but you can see here the front I/O and the CPU power connectors are just on the rear there. Yeah, so nice and clean. From a visual standpoint, I think it does look like very clean. So moving along here, we've got our new two new routers. One is a new flagship, and the other is just kind of in the range of the ROG routers. So have you had a look at? I was actually talking to Cam about this earlier. Did you have a look at our GTB-E98?
These code numbers.
The big head crab one. The Wi-Fi 7 head crab. So this is the follow-up. So this follow-up is the GTB.
Colored in white last year.
Yeah. So now it's a GTB 19000 AI. Now it has an AI board on it with an NPU. I will fully admit that they've explained it to me once or twice. I still don't quite understand what the NPU does on board. But if we send this through to you guys to review, if this is coming to market in Australia, for sure we'll have a media kit that will go more in depth into this. And then over here as well, this is our new ROG wireless router, the BE18000. A little bit of like a sleeker design, not as gaudy with all of the antenna legs coming out of it. Yeah. So, yeah.
These have always been my favorite.
Yeah. So tri-band, Wi-Fi 7, 20 gig capacity, completely compatible with the Asus router app to set up like AI mesh, all that kind of stuff.
Can you turn it around for? What speed are they? 2.5?
So 2.5, 7 2.5 LAN, and 1 2.5 WAN. So there is, as you'd expect, these are the gaming ports. So anything plugged into this will get traffic prioritization.
Oh, is that the actual board inside?
Yeah, so that's opened up. just over here, the main thing that we're showcasing here is the new ROG NUC. So 2025, we've got it kind of blown up so you can see the internals. It is an expandable motherboard with a full M.2 slot, and of course you can swap out the SODIMM RAM if you so choose. Cooling via the dual vapor chambers for the CPU block and GPU. It uses a 5080 laptop grade GPU, Intel Core Ultra 9 CPU, and DDR5 6400 megahertz memory. So main thing, you'll see the form factor is very similar to our 2024 gaming NUC. Just a few quality of life updates, a better anti-slip rubber base, easier attachment, a little bit of an improvement on the iconic glowing ROG logo as well. And it's running here on our PG32 UC DMR. This is our 32-inch 4K OLED. This is currently running at 240 hertz. You can see up here the frame rate is about 236. So 4K.
Is it a matte finish again? No.
This would be, I believe it's our semi-glossy display. But yeah, they've got a lot better actually, those semi-glossy. Yeah, we've got a few, so we've been showcasing that, yeah, we've got matte, we've got glossy, we've got semi-glossy. But with this one in particular, what we're showcasing is the ability of the gaming NUC for it to be putting out externally 4K 240 hertz monitor hitting well above 200 frames. So this thing is extremely powerful. We're well aware of things like cost, but you know, like you are getting a complete system in one go. So yeah, all right, and then moving along. So here we have our dual mode XG OLED, the XG32 UCWG. So the dual mode aspect of it is you can choose to either have it as 4K 165 hertz, so you know, high resolution, decently high refresh rate, or you can drop it to full HD and double the refresh rate up to 330 hertz at 1080p. So this is kind of a dual purpose monitor, as dual mode would imply. If you want, you know, 4K 165 for playing some single player story games, and then if you're done with that and you want to go to play competitive titles, you can double your refresh rate. But just moving across here, sorry. Speaking of high refresh rate monitors, this is our ROG Strix Ace XG248 QSG. This is our fastest gaming monitor that we've ever made, the world's fastest esports monitor. It's 610 hertz when overclocked. It's using a TN panel now, like Super TN, which the engineers just tell me means that there's an even lower input lag. I believe we've got the UFO test running up here.
Just say we got the fastest at 600.
Yeah,
they went up to 610 just to get the windows.
Basically, and you know, 610 is a bigger number than 600. Yeah, so, but this thing as well was also really designed with like esports in mind. If you're very familiar with like the way that like some FPS pros play, so we've changed the base to be a lot flatter, so it's more flush with the table, so that you know when they do the angling of the keyboard, it's not as big of a deal. It's fully adjustable, but one of the things that's really good about this monitor, I don't know if you've seen in esports before, they always have these sort of specific ways that they sit. Yes. So now we've got the angle and the flexibility for the way that a lot of esports pros kind of sit and utilize their monitors. So this we're hoping is going to be meeting their needs. 610 hertz obviously is as fast as it gets right now. Our fastest OLEDs, I believe, are kind of capping out when overclocked at about 500 hertz. So TN, if you're just looking for the biggest number on the refresh rate, Super TN is still the way to go.
It's not quite hitting that on there. Is that just because it's got other stuff open?
It might be. I know that it probably is. I know that it did it earlier. Yeah, so the refresh rate here
in the past. So I got drilled into me like all the crouching down.
Yeah, there you go.
Looking at it in funny.
So once I close Doom, yeah.
Well, I mean, if it was doing that while Doom was playing, Jesus. Wow. It's got the strobing backlight, I'm guessing, on this one.
Yeah, so it has the ELMB2, which is extreme low motion blur 2, like R, to improve the visual and motion clarity. So, yeah. So just here, this is already in market, I believe. Our Asus TUF BE9400. This is our TUF Gaming Wi-Fi 7 wireless router. So this is pretty much the same technology we've been seeing throughout the booth already, but we're just showing a couple of things like that. It's coming to TUF Gaming. So for example, last year with our BTF lineup, it was only coming to the GeForce cards. But now you can see this is a Radeon card. So the 9070 XT is a fantastic card. And now we're bringing BTF to our Radeon lineup as well. So same thing with the high power adapter, and you can see here as well, even our TUF Gaming boards have got, are going to be prepared for BTF. And not really unique to us, but we've also got the 9060 XT, which just launched while we were here at Computex. So this is just a standard graphics card, but the 9060 XT will be in market very soon. Yes, the commercial routers. Yeah, sorry. So we've got a few here on display.
And you're coming to Australia, I think.
Well, I can't promise it just yet. It'll be up to the product manager. But here we've got examples of our travel router series. We've already got one in Australia. I think it's the AX57 Go. So here is the 5G Go and the AX50. So real nice and small. You know, you put like a chip into it, and you just have Wi-Fi 7 on the go with 5G. Yeah, so we do have some of our current mobile, like commercial routers already in Australia. So I'll have to double check to see if these will be coming to market in Australia as well. And then over here as well, just a little bit more, so you can see the travel router with you know, examples of like good use cases. So the thing is, with our expert Wi-Fi line as well, which is like just over here, we're kind of targeting it very much at like small, medium businesses first. You know, we don't really have like you know, full-on like wireless access point just yet. But with these kinds of things, you know, the network switches, the routers, these kinds of things, it's one of the interesting things that I've been hearing, at least online a little bit as well. Some people, they just love the design of it. It's clean. So the idea is for it not to be too obtrusive in a small, medium business setting. But I think some people even want these in their homes because they're just very clean, definitely good looking, yeah. But so all of the guts would be quite similar. The Expert Wi-Fi series in particular has extra features built in to help with SMB setups and things like that, like multiple SSIDs, different connection options and all that kind of stuff. All of which you can still function with the Asus router apps and the software that we have available. We've got new workstation motherboards, which I will fully admit, I don't quite understand the workstation stuff. But we've also got, for the monitor side of things, our new ProArt 6K monitor. But so the 6K and the 5K, obviously if you're familiar with our ProArt range, commercial grade, designed for creative professionals, really color accurate, Kalman verified, factory pre-calibrated, Thunderbolt, Windows Mac compatible. I think when you look at these kinds of monitors, you can really see like the attention to detail with things like the color grading. We've got a lot of different options, and with this particular one, the PA32QCV 6K, one of the things that we've got is like some people film in 6K nowadays, and it's obviously wonderful to just have a native 6K display that you can display it on. Another thing is, if you're working with 4K footage as well, I believe the 4K footage on a 6K monitor would only take up about this much space, and you can still have all of the toolbars and all of the additional information that you need without ever obstructing your workflow. So we've got an example there with the 5K, so you can see they're working with a full 4K UHD image. And all of the toolbars and the hotbars and the information around the side is not getting in the way at all. So obviously with a 6K monitor, you like double that, well, more than double that screen real estate for what where you can put the toolbars and things like that. So we've also got updated software. AI is a big feature, as it always is these days in Computex. So actually we have the capacity that you can control some of your monitor features and monitor like display brightness, contrast, things like that, modes, with speech recognition. So you can ask it like, turn brightness to full, brightness to 50%, contrast to 75%. Obviously, you could do it by hand if you wanted, just here, yeah, like a caveman, or you can, use your voice and control it with AI. So it's just about showcasing, obviously, what the software is capable of. One other thing, just on the other side. So we've had a ProArt lineup for our hardware as well. So in previous generations, our ProArt cards were mostly just aesthetically different. There weren't really any features that were any different from any of the other GeForce cards. But here, we've gone even deeper with the sleek aesthetic. There's not a single bit of RGB on this card. The nice wooden and golden accents, this is actually wood. It's not vinyl. But this also comes with an SSD edition. So here, we've got an M.2 drive built into the graphics card to take advantage of the PCIe Express 5.0 lane. But not only that, with it being built into the cooler, as the M.2 drive might get a bit hot, it can utilize the cooling apparatus of the graphics card to help cool the M.2 as well, whether it be the fin or the pipes. So you can see there it's got the thermal pads just down there to hopefully dissipate heat into the graphics card cooler. So this one here is a 5080 SSD edition, and in the case we've also got the version without the M.2 drive.
Can you buy that case, or is it being made specially?
No, this is a case that we have our PA602 wooden edition. So we've
Wi-Fi build. Is it something Wi-Fi into?
Sorry, what?
It says Wi-Fi build.
Creator Wi-Fi. So the Creator Wi-Fi is the name of the motherboard. So the X870 just means that it has the Wi-Fi antennas built into it. It does have an area where they've slipped the antenna inside, but of course, if you wanted the antenna outside, you can totally do that as well for better connectivity. Yeah, so it's just a ProArt build. The X870E Creator Wi-Fi is just the name of the motherboard. So this is the original hard base. This was our first entry really into the really high esports performance market. So we came out, it was a collaboration with AIM Labs. It's got the AIM Labs blue on it. But now the hard base was so well received. We've had a couple of other follow-ups. So we've had the hard base mini. This is our Keras 2 with the ACE aim-point sensor. So anything with ACE, same as the monitor, is for our esports and performance kind of great peripherals and equipment. But here is the Harp 2 ACE. So this mouse, if I remember correctly, it's only 48 grams. So not all that long ago, lightweight mice were considered lightweight if they were sub 100. Now we've got sub 50. We've even got this. So it's technically sub 48 most of the time that I've weighed it. Why is this one heavier than the other one?
It's not heavier. It's not heavier. It's just with a dongle. So
oh, it has a dongle in it. There you go.
Remove the dongle.
Yeah. So sub 48, but we rounded up. Yeah. So the other one has the dongle removed. I did not think to check that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So the other thing about this mouse as well, if I know you got your hands full, and it's hard to show on camera, but with the old hard base, this is using the typical ABS plastic. If you give it some flex, really press in, there is a little bit of give. It's still pretty sturdy, but now we've used this new bio-based nylon, and it's a lot sturdier. So the thing is, it's sturdier, it's lighter, and it's it's also got a different texture to it. So I don't know how well it shows up on camera. This has got a little bit more of a textured grip.
Yeah,
this one's a bit smoother.
That was based on some feedback
with the textured
it just got really dirty and grime.
Whereas this is a lot smoother, easier to clean.
It's good at cleaning off fingerprints as well.
It's like a weird, it's almost like a glossy matte, right?
Glossy matte.
But yeah, this is a very lightweight mouse, up to to an 8K polling rate.
We've developed this mouse with esports teams. So NRG is a team that we sponsor.
And Demon One is our ROG peripherals ambassador. They send him a lot of shapes. They've worked with him in the design process of getting this made. So this has got the ticket of approval for Demon One. He was the 2023 Valorant World Champion, along with his team in NRG. So yeah, this has his stamp of approval. So that's the market we're aiming for. Real high-end esports performance. So other than that, moving across here, this is our ROG Falcata. So this is a split keyboard design. It's a full keyboard just here. I shouldn't say full. What is it? 70%? I forget the exact percentage. 75%. So it's a normal keyboard. But especially if you have any readers that are big esports players, and they need all the more real estate to get their flick shots, you can unplug the right side of your keyboard, and now you've got all this additional real estate, but you've still got all the essential keys that you need, usually for FPS gaming. But unlike in the past, where you might have to buy something like a Razer or Weaver to have a separate peripheral just to save the space, now you can just buy the one keyboard and still have that same effect. The other advantage as well, as we just showcased earlier, a lot of our esports pros tend to turn the keyboard like this. Now you haven't got all this extra stuff coming off the edge of your mat. But there's also a design aspect to it, which is pretty ergonomic as well. It's got these different feet with different heights, so that let's say you put the height here, it would kind of come close to a neutral grip for an ergonomic use. I personally don't use these. I would probably always have it fully together like this. Another thing as well, the way that it just uses for friction, because we use magnetic switches, so we don't want any interference by using magnets to attach it together. We also have the multimedia scroll here, which is fully programmable for whatever function you want. Also, one of the more popular things these days with a lot of keyboard manufacturers is the changing the actuation point. So from a hardware level, you can change the sensitivity of the actuation points in the keys to 0.1 millimeters. In the software, you can go all the way down to 0.01 millimeters to change it. This is for us what we're calling it the ROG Hall Effect technology. It's apparently made with a newer material. So it uses like the Hall sensor and the magnetic switches to tell just how far you press down keys when you've let up from them, when they've gone back up, that kind of thing. So I know that this is a very popular thing with like routing. They've really set that standard, and a lot of other manufacturers have responded, and now we've got our own solutions as well.